What if one tiny mistake behind the wheel could empty your wallet faster than a major emergency? In Texas, it doesn't always take a crash, a high-speed chase, or something dramatic. Sometimes, it's just one missed sign, one bad decision, or 1 second of distraction. And before you know it, that small mistake can turn into fines, fees, insurance hikes, court costs, and thousands of dollars gone. That's the scary part. Most drivers don't even realize how close they are to breaking these rules. Now here's where it gets even more shocking. Some Texas driving laws have changed, expanded, or become much stricter, and many people are still driving like nothing happened. They think they're following the rules, until flashing lights appear in the mirror. In that moment, confusion turns into panic, and panic turns into expensive consequences. So in this video, we're breaking down 10 Texas driving laws in 2026 that every driver needs to know. And trust me, some of these could surprise you. Number 1. The move over law got bigger. This is one of those laws that many drivers think they already understand, until they realize Texas made it even broader. Most people know you're supposed to move over or slow down when you see emergency vehicles stopped on the roadside with flashing lights. But now, this law reaches further than many drivers expect. It's not just about police cars anymore. In Texas, the move over law got bigger, which means more roadside workers and service vehicles are protected under it. So picture this: you're driving at full speed, music playing, mind somewhere else, and up ahead there's a vehicle on the shoulder with flashing lights. If you don't react the right way, that single careless moment can turn into a very expensive mistake. And the worst part is, many drivers don't even realize they broke the law until they see flashing lights behind them. Here's what makes this so serious. If you approach a stopped authorized vehicle with flashing lights, you are expected to move over to another lane when it is safe. And if you can't move over, then you must slow down significantly. That sounds simple, but in real life, this is where drivers fail. They hesitate. They think, I still have enough room. They keep their speed. They drift by too close. And that's exactly what makes this law so dangerous. On the side of that road could be a police officer, a tow truck worker, a utility crew member, or someone helping at the scene of a breakdown. For them, one speeding car passing too close can feel like a wall of danger rushing right past their body. And this is why one small violation could cost you thousands. The fine alone can be painful, but that's only the beginning. Add court costs, possible insurance increases, and even worse consequences if someone gets hurt, and suddenly a small mistake becomes a financial nightmare. This law is not just about being polite on the road, it's about protecting lives. So the next time you see flashing lights on the shoulder, don't guess, don't risk it, and don't wait until the last second. Move over. Slow down. Because in Texas, failing to do that can cost far more than you ever expected. Number 2. Texas cracked down on paper tags. For years, paper tags were something Texas drivers barely thought about. You bought a vehicle, got a temporary paper plate, taped it on, and drove away. Simple. But now, that old routine has changed, and a lot of people still haven't fully caught up. Texas cracked down hard on paper tags, and that means what used to seem normal can now attract attention fast. Imagine driving through traffic, feeling completely fine, when suddenly a patrol car pulls in behind you. Your heart drops. Why? Because something about your plate, your paperwork, or the way your vehicle is registered doesn't look right anymore. That's the danger here. This isn't one of those laws that feels dramatic when you hear it, but it can become very dramatic the moment you're the one getting stopped on the side of the road. The reason Texas got stricter is because fake paper tags became a massive problem. They were being copied, sold illegally, and used on vehicles that shouldn't even be on the road. So now, the state has pushed toward a more secure system, and drivers are expected to be far more careful about their registration and plate situation. That means if you recently bought a vehicle, especially from a dealer, you can't just assume everything is fine because someone handed you papers and sent you home. You need to know exactly what should be on your car, what documents you should have, and whether everything is current and legal. Because if something is missing, outdated, or improperly displayed, that small mistake can instantly put you in a stressful and expensive mess. And this is where the money starts to pile up. One issue with your tag or registration can lead to a traffic stop, a citation, wasted hours, possible towing, and extra fees you never saw coming. Then comes the deeper frustration: missed work, long phone calls, paperwork headaches, and the feeling that all of this started over something that seemed minor. That's why this law matters so much in 2026. It's not just about a plate on the back of your car. It's about whether your vehicle looks legal, traceable, and compliant the moment law enforcement sees it. So always double-check your registration, your plate status, and your paperwork, because in Texas, even a simple tag problem can snowball fast. Number 3. Texting while driving is still a costly trap. This is one of the most common mistakes drivers make because it feels so small in the moment. Your phone lights up. You hear that little notification sound. Maybe it's a text from family, a work message, or something you feel needs just a quick look. And that's exactly how it starts. Not with a reckless plan, but with one tiny glance. The problem is that while your eyes are on that screen, your car is still moving. The road is still changing. Traffic is still shifting. A child could step out, a car could brake suddenly, or a light could change while your attention disappears for only a few seconds. That is why texting while driving is so dangerous. It feels harmless right up until the moment everything goes wrong. What makes this law so powerful is that many people underestimate the true cost of that one distracted moment. They think the biggest risk is just a ticket. But the ticket is often the smallest part of the problem. The real damage begins if that distraction causes you to drift into another lane, tap the car in front of you, or trigger a crash that could have been avoided. Suddenly, that quick text is no longer quick at all. Now you're dealing with vehicle repairs, insurance claims, rising premiums, possible injuries, missed work, and in serious cases, legal consequences that can follow you long after the road is clear. That is how one little message can turn into a major financial hit. And the scariest part is how normal it feels. Almost everyone has had that moment where they think, I'll just check this for 1 second. But on the road, 1 second can be everything. That's why this law matters so much in 2026. It's not only about obeying the rules. It's about protecting your money, your record, your car, and most importantly, your life and the lives around you. So before you start driving, put the phone out of reach, silence the temptation, and make a simple decision that could save you from a disaster. Because in Texas, one text can cost far more than you ever imagined. Number 4. Handheld phone use in school zones can hit you fast. This is where a lot of drivers get caught off guard, because the mistake feels so ordinary. You're driving through a school zone, moving slowly, maybe thinking about work, errands, or getting home on time. Your phone buzzes. Maybe you want to check the map, answer a quick message, or change a song. It feels harmless. After all, you're not speeding, and traffic is moving slowly. But that's exactly why this law is so dangerous to ignore. In a school zone, even one small distraction can become a huge problem in seconds. Children are crossing streets, parents are pulling in and out, school buses are stopping, and crossing guards are watching every car. One quick look at your phone can steal the exact second you needed to react. What makes this even more serious is that school zones are not normal roads. They are high-alert areas where everything can change instantly. A child can step off the curb without warning. A car in front of you can stop suddenly. A crossing guard can signal traffic to freeze in an instant. If your hand is on your phone instead of the wheel, or your eyes are on a screen instead of the road, you are gambling with a situation that already carries high risk. And when police are watching these areas closely, that tiny decision can lead to flashing lights, a ticket, and a stressful stop that ruins your day before you even make it out of the zone. But the real danger is not just the fine. The real danger is what can happen if that distraction leads to an accident. Then you are no longer dealing with a simple violation. You could be facing damage costs, insurance increases, legal trouble, and the emotional weight of knowing it all started because you looked down at the wrong moment. That's why this law matters so much in 2026. In a school zone, there is no such thing as a harmless glance at your phone. So when you enter one, put the device away completely and stay locked in. Because in Texas, a single distracted second near a school can cost far more than money. Number 5. Passing a stopped school bus can get expensive very fast. This is one of those mistakes that happens in a split second, but the consequences can stay with you for a very long time. You're driving, maybe running late, maybe thinking the road is clear, and then you see a school bus stopped ahead with its lights flashing. For one dangerous moment, some drivers convince themselves they still have time to pass. Maybe they think no child is stepping out yet. Maybe they assume the stop won't apply to them. But that single wrong choice can become one of the costliest mistakes on the road. Because when a school bus stops, the danger is invisible until it suddenly isn't. A child can step into the road without warning, and by the time a driver realizes it, it may already be too late. That is exactly why Texas takes this law so seriously. A stopped school bus is not just another vehicle holding up traffic. It is a warning sign that children may be entering the road at any second. And children are unpredictable. They may be excited, distracted, or rushing to cross without fully seeing the danger. When a driver ignores that flashing red signal and keeps moving, they are gambling with a life. That's why this violation can bring heavy fines and even harsher consequences for repeat offenses. And beyond the legal punishment, there is the deep emotional weight that comes with knowing one rushed decision could have caused a tragedy that can never be undone. What makes this so powerful in 2026 is that many people still underestimate it. They think of it as just another traffic rule, when in reality it is one of the most serious safety laws a driver can break. The fine alone can hurt, but once you add court costs, possible license trouble, insurance increases, and everything that follows, that one moment of impatience can cost far more than expected. So when you see a stopped school bus, don't guess, don't rush, and don't take chances. Stop completely and wait. Because in Texas, trying to save a few seconds near a school bus can cost you thousands, and far worse. Comment the one Texas driving law that surprised you most and tell me why it stood out. And please subscribe to the channel. It's just one click, but it helps us keep creating powerful, high-effort videos like this for you. Number 6. Speeding in work zones and school zones can multiply the damage. Speeding always feels like a small decision when you're the one behind the wheel. You're a little late, the road looks open, and pressing the gas pedal just a bit more doesn't seem like a big deal. But in Texas, that same habit becomes far more dangerous and far more expensive the moment you enter a work zone or a school zone. These are not ordinary stretches of road. They are places where conditions can change in a heartbeat. In a work zone, lanes narrow, barriers appear, and workers may be only a few feet away from fast-moving traffic. In a school zone, children can cross suddenly, cars stop without warning, and one distracted second can become a disaster. That's why speeding here is treated much more seriously. What makes this violation so dangerous is how easy it is to misjudge the risk. A driver sees orange cones or school zone signs and still thinks, "I'm only a little over." But that little over can have huge consequences. In these zones, even a few extra miles per hour can reduce your reaction time, increase stopping distance, and turn a close call into a crash. And once that happens, the financial consequences can start piling up fast. A simple speeding ticket can already hurt, but in certain zones, penalties can rise sharply. Add court costs, insurance increases, possible accident repairs, missed work, and everything else that follows, and suddenly the cost is no longer small. It becomes a chain reaction that drains your time, money, and peace of mind. That's why this law matters so much in 2026. It's not just about staying under the number on the sign. It's about recognizing that some places on the road demand a completely different level of caution. A school zone is protecting children. A work zone is protecting people doing their jobs only feet away from danger. So the moment you see those warning signs, slow down immediately, stay alert, and drive like every second matters. Because in Texas, speeding in the wrong zone doesn't just cost you a ticket. It can multiply into thousands before you even realize what happened. Number 7. Driving without insurance is a financial trap waiting to snap. This is one of the most dangerous I'll deal with it later mistakes a driver can make. Maybe your policy lapsed and you haven't renewed it yet. Maybe the payment failed and you didn't notice. Or maybe you think, "I'm a careful driver, so I probably won't need it." That false sense of safety is exactly what makes this so risky. Driving without insurance can feel invisible right up until the moment something goes wrong. And when it does, the fallout can be brutal. A simple traffic stop can already expose the problem, but a crash can turn it into a full-blown financial nightmare in seconds. What seemed like a private paperwork issue suddenly becomes a public, expensive, and deeply stressful disaster. The reason this law hits so hard is because insurance is not just a card in your glove box. It is the barrier standing between you and massive out-of-pocket costs. Without it, even a relatively small accident can become overwhelming. Imagine tapping the rear of another car at a light, or sliding into someone's bumper in traffic. With valid coverage, it's still frustrating. Without coverage, that same moment can leave you facing repair bills, damage claims, legal consequences, and pressure from every direction. And if someone is injured, the numbers can rise so fast it barely feels real. This is how one overlooked policy payment can become a money crisis that follows you for months or even years. That's what makes this law so important in 2026. A lot of people think the main risk is just getting a ticket, but the real danger is everything that comes after. The fines hurt, yes, but then come the insurance surcharges, the legal headaches, the stress, and the damage to your financial stability. One simple lapse can trigger a domino effect that keeps getting more expensive. So don't just assume you're covered. Check your policy, confirm your payments, Keep proof with you. Because in Texas, driving without insurance is not a minor gamble. It's a financial trap waiting for the worst possible moment to snap shut. Number 8. An open container can turn a simple traffic stop into a bigger problem. This is one of those laws that surprises a lot of people because it doesn't always sound serious at first. Some drivers think if they're not drunk, then having an open bottle or can in the car is not a big deal. But that assumption can get very expensive very quickly. In Texas, an open container inside the passenger area of a vehicle can create trouble even before anyone talks about driving under the influence. So picture this: you get pulled over for something small, maybe a rolling stop, a broken light, or driving a little too fast. It seems like a normal traffic stop. Then the officer spots an open container in the car. In that moment, everything changes. What started as a minor situation can suddenly feel much more serious, much more tense, and much more costly. The reason this law matters so much is because it can instantly raise suspicion and escalate the entire stop. Now the officer is looking more closely. Now the questions get sharper. Now a simple citation may turn into a much bigger legal headache. Even if the driver thought the drink was old, forgotten, or not a big deal, the law may see it very differently. And that is where people get trapped. They underestimate how one visible item in the car can completely change the direction of the encounter. It can lead to fines, added stress, extra scrutiny, and in some situations, much more serious consequences if other issues are discovered during the stop. That is why this law is so important in 2026. It's not just about alcohol. It's about how one careless choice can create a chain reaction you never planned for. The financial cost can start with a fine, but it may not end there. Add court costs, possible insurance issues, and the risk of a more serious investigation, and suddenly that small mistake doesn't feel small at all. So the safest move is simple. Never keep an open alcohol container in the passenger area of your vehicle. Because in Texas, one thing left in the wrong place can turn an ordinary stop into a costly mess. Number 9. A DWI can destroy your wallet, your license, and your future. This is the violation that starts with one bad decision and can explode into one of the biggest financial disasters a driver will ever face. Maybe someone leaves dinner feeling fine. Maybe they tell themselves they only had a couple of drinks. Maybe they think the drive home is short, the roads are quiet, and nothing will happen. But that false confidence is exactly what makes a DWI so dangerous. The scariest part is that many people don't feel reckless when they make this choice. They feel normal. And that is often the moment their life takes a hard turn. Because once those lights flash behind them, the reality hits all at once. This is no longer just a bad idea. It is now a legal, financial, and personal crisis that can spiral out of control fast. What makes a DWI so devastating is that the cost comes from every direction at once. There may be fines, towing charges, court fees, legal expenses, higher insurance rates, possible license suspension, and even the loss of work opportunities if driving is part of your daily life. Then comes the emotional side, the shame, the fear, the phone calls, the waiting, and the awful realization that one decision made in a few careless seconds can keep punishing you for months or even years. And if a crash happens, or someone is hurt, the consequences become even heavier. This is how one night, one ride, and one terrible judgment call can turn into a storm of damage that keeps getting worse. That is why this law matters so much in 2026. A DWI is not just another ticket. It can hit your money, your record, your family life, your freedom, and your future all at once. The worst part is that so many of these cases begin with the same sentence: "I thought I was okay." So make the safest decision before the keys ever touch your hand. Call someone. Use a rideshare. Stay where you are. Because in Texas, one drunk driving mistake can cost far more than thousands. It can change your entire life. Number 10. Seatbelt and child restraint laws are easy to ignore until something goes wrong. This is one of the most common mistakes drivers make because it feels so harmless. You're just going a short distance. Maybe it's a quick drive to the store, a fast school drop-off, or a short trip through the neighborhood. In that moment, some people think, "We'll be fine." A child sits in the back without the proper restraint. An adult skips the seatbelt because the destination is only a few minutes away. It feels small, almost invisible, like nothing could possibly happen in such a short drive. But the road does not care how close your destination is. A crash can happen in seconds, even on the most familiar street, and when it does, that one careless choice can turn into a terrifying and expensive reality. What makes this law so serious is that seat belts and child restraints are not just safety rules. They are the thin line between a close call and a life-changing injury. In a sudden stop or collision, the force inside a vehicle becomes violent in an instant. A body that was relaxed 1 second can be thrown forward with shocking force the next. That is why Texas takes these laws seriously, especially when children are involved. And the real cost is not just the citation. It's everything that can follow if someone is hurt. Medical bills, emergency care, insurance problems, emotional trauma, and the unbearable thought that the injury may have been prevented with one simple click. This is how a "we're only going nearby" moment can become one of the most painful regrets a driver ever carries. That's why this law matters so much in 2026. It reminds drivers that safety is not optional based on distance, mood, or convenience. Every trip matters. Every passenger matters. Every buckle matters. So before the car even starts moving, take those few extra seconds to check every seatbelt and every child restraint properly. It may feel like a tiny step, but it can protect your family from a disaster that unfolds in the blink of an eye. Because in Texas, ignoring a basic safety rule for just one short trip can cost far more than money. It can cost peace, health, and everything that truly matters. So here's the truth most drivers never think about until it's too late. In Texas, the most expensive driving mistakes usually do not begin with something dramatic. They begin with something small. A quick glance at a phone. A rushed move around a school bus. A little speeding in the wrong zone. A missing insurance payment. A bad decision after one night out. And that is exactly what makes these laws so dangerous to ignore. They catch people in ordinary moments. Moments when they feel comfortable, distracted, impatient, or too confident to believe anything serious could happen. But on the road, one careless second can open the door to fines, court costs, insurance hikes, legal trouble, and financial pain that keeps growing long after the traffic stop or accident is over. That's why this video matters so much in 2026. These are not random rules designed to make driving harder. These laws exist because every one of them is tied to real danger, real crashes, and real lives. Behind every flashing school bus light, every work zone sign, every roadside emergency vehicle, and every seatbelt warning, there is a story. Usually, it is a story of something that went wrong because someone thought, it's not a big deal. But it was. And by the time they realized that, the damage was already done. The smartest drivers are not the ones who think they know everything. They are the ones who stay alert, stay humble, and never underestimate small mistakes. So before you head out on the road again, remember this. One small violation really can cost you thousands. If this video opened your eyes, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more videos that protect your money, your safety, and your future. And in the comments, tell me, which Texas driving law shocked you the most?